All right, hey guys, Jason here, Sam Coach Radbo. Today we're going to talk about why you miss when you shoot from a tree stand and how to avoid this. Okay, there are some simple tips and techniques you can do to avoid missing high when you shoot at a deer from a tree stand. Hopefully you can beat this before a storm. We got that Hurricane Debbie coming in. I got thunder rolling everywhere, and we're going to be getting about 8 inches of rain per day for the next few days. It's going to be pretty miserable here, but gives me an opportunity to make some videos before it happens here. So we're on my lone wolf stand here, and we are set up. So now when we're looking at this, when you have a deer that is basically out here in front of you from a tree stand, it looks much different than it does from the actual ground. Matter of fact, I'm gonna come down and talk about that for a sec while we're over here. It's easier. But trying to visualize like you do on your target range here with my targets that are right back here in the background. You can see them right there, okay? Visualizing your shot on an animal like this that's sitting right there is so much easier than visualizing it from a tree stand where you're up above. The dynamics of the body shape changes. The fact that it's you have all this air between you and that deer, even though his distance from the base of your tree might only be 15 yards, that air between you and him feels much further than that, okay? It feels like it's a lot further away than what it does, especially the higher you go, which isn't really changing the distance. It sort of is from the air, but it changes it drastically in your mind. There's a huge factor of that. How do we beat that? How do we get used to shooting here and then go up there and get used to shooting up there without having that be something that you're going to shoot high, which often happens? Practice from up high, okay? Find a way to get elevated. Take your stand. We got my stand sitting right here on my tree in my yard. Take your stand and go put it up in a tree in your yard, or go put it in a tree somewhere where you can. Go to your hunting property. You hunt somewhere. If you hunt someplace, you have access to a tree. Go to that tree, take a buddy with you, hang your stand, put it all the way up in a tree where you want to hunt at, bring a half a dozen arrows, shoot a half a dozen arrows into a 3D target, have your buddy pull them, put them in a quiver, pull them back up to you, do it again, shoot a dozen, come down, repeat, let him do the same thing, and then do it again. Okay, or you can, again, you got a building or a roof or something you can get on that's going to let you shoot it, do it, whatever the case is. Find a way to practice those elevated shots. It is that crucial important. The other big thing that you can do, the one thing that so few do yet everybody can, is this right here, okay? A judo point. Put that judo point on your arrow and keep it in your quiver, and then every time you hang a stand during the whole entire hunting season, as soon as you get up in the stand, take your shot and fire that judo. And if it doesn't hit where you like and you're not happy with it and you're not having the confidence, get down, go pick it up, bring it back up the tree and do it again. And then, but this is a massive practicing thing. Now the beauty is from a tree stand, you don't have to use a judo. You can. It allows me to stump shoot everything. But look at like Emra from Bowhunting Soul. He uses another broadhead. It's a dulled out, wore down broadhead, but that way he's getting broadhead practice from his tree stands all the time too. And he gets up in the stand, he shoots it like we do at judo. It's a fantastic way to do this, okay? Nothing is going to prepare you more for how to shoot visually and physically at an animal from an elevated position than, guess what? Shooting from an elevated position. Is it hard? Yes. Does it take time to do? Yes. Is it a pain in the butt to bring all that gear, set it up, go through it, especially in the hot months and stuff like that? Yes, it is. Is it worth it? 1,000 times over, okay? When you're sitting there and you're on your out-of-state hunt, your first one, you go to the Midwest and you got drawn for Kansas, which you can only get like every 3 or 4 years now, and you get into Kansas and here you are and you're set up in that stand and everything's exciting. All of a sudden here comes that 160, and you're locked in and you're like, oh my God, he's right there at 12 yards. Look at how perfect that is. That is it. Boom, and you shoot right over his back and he just trances off. You're like, oh, what happened? What happened is you did not understand the value of practicing from a tree stand. That's basically what it means. Now, when you start doing that, you will learn some things that are going to be an issue. We're going to save you those right now and teach you those. So when we got this stand right here and we look at this setup, we climb up on here, okay, there are some things that are going to matter that are going to come into play for you. So I got to turn the camera. Hang on. Spinning the camera back over here so you can see me. Okay, and there we go. We're good? Yes. So when we do this and we're up here, okay, and we're on here, I want you to notice how much arrow sticks out off the end of my bow. How much arrow sticking out at the end here, okay? So if I were on the ground and I were to shoot on the ground, okay, here's what it looks like. Okay, about that much arrow sticking out. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to tip, and I want you to watch how the arrow draws in. Okay, so here we are at ground level, and then we're going to tip to a shot right down here below. Watch the end of my arrow and how it comes into the bow, how much longer my draw gets. Okay? See that? That is because I'm not bending at the waist. Bending at the waist is where it matters, okay? If you just take your arrow and you put it on your string and you're used to shooting this way, vertical, whatever it is, like this, and then if you just bend their arm down, it stretches the arrow past it. Because all you're doing is dropping your bow arm, which extends that draw length out. That becomes a problem. The bending has to be in the waist. What you see here has to maintain. So you don't go from here where you're used to shooting all the time every day, vertical or whatever. You don't go from this position down to this position to shoot from a tree stand. Doesn't work that way. It goes like this. From here to here. This is how it's done. It is all in the waist. That is how that shot happens. Waist and knees. That is how it is. My upper body never changes from this position, not doing this. Again, you can see that arrow disappears here. Look at, I'll do it this way. Watch that arrow, okay? That's adding 2 inches of draw length to my draw. That's a big reason you're going to shoot over the top. Plus, it messes up your shooting system. Everything is wrong. You need that to match. So when you shoot at an animal, it has to be a bend at the waist. It's like this. If he's coming in and he's standing right here and he's here, you have to bend more. If he's right here, you bend even more. It is this way, okay? Watch the difference here, okay? If I just draw and shoot, that's bad. What we want to do is this, like this. And people say that too. I've had comments on that deer that I killed in Georgia last year, in October here in Georgia, that I shot it with my bow almost canted this way, like that. It had to be because of the scenario. It was on this side, and I had to take that shot, but that deer was only 4 yards away. So in order to keep from hitting the tree, I had to do that. But because I had to bend at the waist, I wasn't just shooting straight down like this. I had to bend at that waist, which meant bend my knees. It ended up looking like this. So you can see that angle of my bow is actually tipped tail high than it is more than it is the end. It's the other thing, because of having to bend here. That is the key. You have to learn to bend at the waist. You cannot just drop that bow arm. That is going to be one of your biggest factors. The other one that you got to be concerned with when shooting from a tree stand, besides that, which is number one, number two is the visualization of the distance and everything that is there that you have to contend with. The third one, the last one you got to deal with, is your limb clearance is going to be an issue. Now this one's pretty easy to notice if you're going to shoot this way. You're like, oh, I got good clearance here. No, you don't. This is not good clearance. I can't shoot that way. What's going to happen when I shoot that way? If we put an arrow on that string and we go to shoot that way, I think, oh, I got clearance. Look at that. I can shoot all the way to here. Can I? No, I can't draw here at all. There's no possible way to draw here. Even if I cannot draw, there's no way to draw there. Why? Trees in the way. Okay, and yet people realize that stuff, and if it's too close and you think you can and you come in and you draw like this and then you get here and you don't know it, when you shoot, you're hitting. Okay, you're going to hit. Same with the lower limb. You think you got clearance here on your lower limb and you're like, oh, I can go all the way to here. No, you can't, okay, because when you start drawing, you're going to run into issues down there. That is going to bump. He's okay. You can draw this way when he's out there from a tree stand height if that's 35 yards away, but if he comes in here to 10, I can't. I'm hitting the tree. There's no way around the tree. Can I straighten out? Yes, I can, but then I'm hitting myself. You have to know your clearances around you and your body. If you're a vertical shooter, what are you going to do if he's out here? You want to be able to draw this and shoot him when he's out here like this, but then he's walking into. Does this bow go on this side? Does this bow go on this side? Is it going to work through here? Is it going to hit something? If your seat's down, are you going to end up hitting your seat here? You're going to come in and draw, and he's going to take 2 steps, and now you got your seat between there, and all these variables of clearances of that tree stand have to be worked out ahead of time. Hence the reason we talk about practicing from an elevated position. This is the reason it is so vital for you to take that stand, take your sticks, take a 3D target or don't, target doesn't really matter, but take it to a place where you can get up to the hunting height you're going to use and practice from there. If you do not do this, you will fail. And when you fail, 9 times out of 10, it will be because you shot high over the top of the animal. Again, when you look at the body design of that is something that is this thick, like on that 3D target, you got this thick of a body, top to bottom. When they roll, that changes. That whole perceptive changes, and being above them messes with your head. So you got a lot of things to take into consideration. Moral of the story, if you want to not miss high when shooting from a tree stand, you dang well better practice not only shooting from a tree stand, all of your different positions and ways that you can shoot and how you can maneuver your bow and what you're going to be able to get away with in there, and check your clearances. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.